Sofa King Cool here with Barney from Naplam Death. How you doing, brother?
How you doing, man?
Good.
Buffalo in the middle of the night, by the looks of things.
Yeah, right? Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to ask you is, I mean, obviously you guys are from overseas. You're here in the States now. What's it like being in the States here? I mean, like, you guys don't have accessibility to radio play, really, or MTV or anything like that. I mean, I've known you guys for years now, you know what I mean? I mean, what does it take for you guys to get, how do you guys get out there, basically, what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, we don't court that stuff anyway. We don't actively go after radio or MTV or anything like that. They actually came to us in the 90s, but we were always going to do our own thing. We never really pandered to those things, so after a while the relationship kind of petered out, you know, so, and but that's fine. It hasn't actually made a difference to us because we work on a kind of an underground level.
Right.
Contrary to belief in some places, you can do what you need to do without major outlets.
Right.
You don't need those people, you know. If you're quite content to be a band in a good place with with a good healthy following that's got longevity rather than here today, gone tomorrow, then you're actually all the better for it, arguably.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with you guys yourselves, I mean, the band was early 80s.
Yeah, when you first started.
You yourself, you've been in since 89,
yeah.
right? So you got 20 years at least underneath your belt.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
And then, like I said, it's something that you know. You know the name, you know who you are, you know what I mean? And it's just, England, you guys are on a completely different level than you guys are in the States.
I mean, I'm not so sure, actually, because I think mainland Europe is the main place for us. England is only a part of that, you know. I mean, a lot of people would automatically assume that you're always big in your home country, and yeah, the name is known, as we were talking about before the interview, but we're not. That hasn't necessarily translated into size of the band, you know.
Right.
In England, I would say we're a big band.
Well, you see what it is. I mean, in the States here, when we say England, we mean all of. I mean, I'm just generalizing all of you. Exactly.
Yeah, mainland Europe is probably arguably our best place, and Asia as well. Actually, can we hold it for a second?
Yeah,
Mitch,
for sure.
Mitch.
Like we were saying, when I was saying England, it was, I mean all of
mainland
Europe.
And stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you guys are playing for there. It's like, I know for Cannibal Corpse used to be a Buffalo band, and I know when they go over, they're playing for thousands compared to what's going on here.
They are big Cannibal Corpse, you know, markedly probably bigger than we are as a band, you know. But yeah, it's all relative at the end of the day, you know. So I'm quite happy. You know what? I could fucking care less if this band never got any bigger than where it is. We do all right, man. You know, we sort of survive, and we got a good, healthy thing going. It's actually a nice thing. It's not like we feel obligated to do some corporate bullshit or something.
Right, for sure.
Don't, you know, we don't have to. We don't wish to. You know, we try and keep everything completely independent. You know, and it's honestly, personally speaking, I feel a lot happier, you know, with that.
Well, I mean, on your level where you're at, you guys are obviously, like I said, the name's known. Everyone knows you. Your sales are obviously very good.
But still, we're getting bigger. This is the thing. Here's the real ironic thing about it. In a time when bands aren't selling CDs or albums or whatever necessarily, we're actually doing better than ever. We're selling more, you know, sort of in steps. We're selling more than we ever have. I mean, it's crazy, you know, but this is the way it's going for us.
Well, you know, I mean, you guys are a different breed, though. You know what I mean? I mean, nowadays, it's like you hear something on the radio, you download that shit. You know what I mean? I mean, your fans are a different kind of breed. They're buying the CD, they're going to the shows. It's different than what music once was.
I mean, it's also worth saying as well that, you know what, this is the first time this year and last year in probably 20 years that we've been able to have momentum in the States. And by that I mean being able to come back within 6 months. Don't forget, we were here 6 months ago.
Right.
Now, for us to do that 5-10 years ago would have not been possible. People have seen us once and say, right, we've seen you for now, we'll see you again in 2 years or something. Now we're getting asked to come back, you know. We're even considering doing another tour in early next year, January.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, it's killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely good for you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's different than what it once was. I mean, you've been in the band for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
They've been out for 30 years. I mean, you guys had quite a few lineup changes before you actually set what you guys have.
Yeah.
But the majority of you guys now have been in the band since late 80s, early 90s. So I mean, you've been Naplam Death for what people know. I mean, it's you. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, I mean, everybody, you know.
Right.
And the history, you know. I mean, I also should say this, that before I joined Napalm, the first two Napalm albums were among my favourite albums ever in a very short space of time.
Right.
So it's worth also saying that, you know, that Napalm overall was probably my favourite band before I joined, and how killer is that to like join your favourite band, you know?
Yeah.
Out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere. One, you know, you got to think of this. One week I was an engineer in Birmingham, working in the car industry. 2 weeks later, I'm playing CBGBs.
Right.
You know, with Blind Idiot God and Prong when Prong were amazing, first two albums. You know.
Yeah, Snap Your Finger, Snap Your Neck.
Before that, you know, I forget what the album was. I forget what the first two albums were called off the top of my head now, but yeah, it was amazing. You know.
Well, I mean, that's going to be a great experience for you. Like I said, I mean, you're a fan originally,
sure,
and now you're the front man. I mean, as far as anybody goes back,
yeah,
they know Barney as the man. You know what I mean?
Sure. But obviously, you know, our ethos, where we come from, which was, you know, it's a state of mind. Wow.
Yeah, motorcycles. Right?
Yeah.
Go right on the sidewalk.
Yeah. It was, you know, to be attributed to the punk scene. You know, it was never about icons in the band necessarily. It was about what the band stood for as a whole. You know what I mean?
Right.
So of course, people pick up on me as the front man, but it's always about the whole picture. You know, I'm only a component part of. I wouldn't be able to be there if it wasn't for the other guys behind me. You know?
Right. I mean, you guys are a great ensemble. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, as a frontman, people know the name, they know everything that's going on there. But as far as everything goes through, like people know all you guys as a collaborative.
Yeah.
But you stand out a little bit. You know, we're not going to lie here.
No. Well, I mean, hopefully the fucking ethos and the music stands out more than anything.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, as a frontman, it's your vocals. Everyone knows you. I mean, you know, your stage persona.
Yeah.
I mean, we're after the show here, and I mean, it was amazing. I mean, you know,
thank you.
Did a very good job out there.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, and that's another point, where we take our cues from, people sometimes lump us in with the death metal thing. And sure, you know, we've got those influences, no question about that. Yeah, it tends to be the earlier stuff of that genre, but all the same, you know. But where the stage stuff comes from is actually not that at all. It's from early American, if anything, early American hardcore, which back in the day, like 80, 83, 84, was incredible, you know. Black Flag, SSD, you know, Siege, whatever, you could name 1,000 bands, you know.
Right.
The way they used to project themselves on stage, holy shit, incredible, you know. And I took a lot from that. Musically, I'm more influenced by the hardcore punk from Scandinavia, Japan, that really abrasive stuff.
Right.
But in terms of the stage side of things, the projecting yourself, definitely American hardcore was a big part of it, you know. So.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you guys just put an album out last year, right?
Yeah, Utilitarian.
That was your 15th studio album?
I believe so. I stopped counting, you know, a few albums ago.
No, I seen you guys actually put out a couple. You guys are doing some collaborative that I
Yeah,
seen.
we did splits. We did one with Converge, and we got one with the Melvins, which is coming out actually shortly. You know, it might already be ready to be released. You know, but
how does that come about? I mean, how do you guys want to go?
You got to remember, we've got a lot of friends. You know, we've built up a lot of friends over the years, and because Napalm's just not one thing, you know, not one style. It's like it's hardcore punk, it's death metal, it's like no wave as well. You know, all these things mixed in. We've got a lot of friends in a lot of different scenes. You know,
right?
So we're able to reach out to all these people and say, oh, you know, do you want to do a split single? Oh yeah, fine, let's do it. You know, get it together, whatever. You know. So.
It's very cool. Now, for people that want to purchase those, what's your website?
Well, the website's naplamdeath.org, as far as I know. I don't do that social media. I'm a bit of a social media outcast, basically. I don't really do it. You know, it's like not my thing. But Shane does it actually. But I know it's naplamdeath.org. I know there's definitely a Facebook site. I know there's definitely a Twitter page. What they are, who the fuck knows? What they are, you know, out there.
But the main gist, like, if people want to see what's going on with the tour, if people want to get everything.
naplamdeath.org. Cool. You know. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this. Now we mentioned social media and shit. I mean, like I said, you guys have been doing this for quite a little bit. What's that like for you now, man? You know what I mean? I mean, like, everything's fucking changed.
Yeah, sure.
Before, you go to a record store, you buy a CD, you buy an album.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you download the shit off the fucking internet.
Yeah.
And you're going to somebody's Twitter page to see what they ate for lunch that day.
You know what, man? You know what? I'll say this. I love vinyl and I love CD. It's what I'm naturally attracted to, like a lot of people. Having said that, I'm not snobbish towards what's going on with the internet. How can you be? It's an entity. It's inanimate. You know, how can you have a sort of a diminished view of it because of what it is?
Right.
You know, use it to your advantage. It's just another medium. You know, that's all it is. You know, so do whatever you got to do with it. Basically, it's your choice. You can either partially do it and not get into the whole what I had for lunch thing, or you can do it to whatever you see fit. You know, I think it can be a great bastion of free speech. You know, one of the last things that's left in that respect.
Like I said, it all depends on how you approach it.
Sure.
I mean, it's.
But that's the beauty of it. You
exactly.
can mold it to however you want to use it. You know, so.
And it's got to be a game changer for you, though, for somebody who's been in the game for so long.
Well, I personally don't do it.
That's what I'm saying. You know,
that's what I'm saying. But not because, like I say, not because I'm snobbish towards it, but just because I'm not motivated really to do it. You know, yeah, I've got a Twitter page and I'll occasionally say some fucking bullshit on there just for the sake of it, you know, but very, very rarely, you know, do I sort of really get into that.
Well, I mean, it's so hard for you to have a personal opinion to be like, you know what, I listened to this today or listen to that, and you got 10,000 followers that are like, how fucking dare you say that today?
Yeah,
you know?
Sure. You know what? I mean, I've thought about it. I mean, I may well develop a page at some point, and I'd like to use it to talk about some of the stuff we do on stage. You know, to put thoughts out there and do all the rest of it. Up until now, it's not. I'd love to do that, but it's the motivation to get it going, and I've got so many other things going on because Napalm's very self-contained.
Right.
So I've got certain duties that I have to perform, which doesn't always leave me with a lot of time for things like, you know, Twitter, Facebook, and stuff. So
for sure. Now with this is the Disciple Records tour, Disciple Magazine. I'm sorry to say.
Decibel, yeah.
And it's you and Cannibal Corpse and a couple other guys.
Yeah.
What's next for you guys after this?
We're actually we've got a number of, because the European festival season starts it may have already started actually, but yeah, that starts pretty soon, and so we're doing parts of that, not only the bigger ones, also important to support the smaller ones as well, you know,
right,
counterbalance things. And then the next exciting thing actually after that is we're doing a Russian Federation tour.
Oh wow.
We're also going to Kazakhstan.
Oh wow.
And I'm not sure that any Western band's ever been there, you know.
Right.
So in keeping with the tradition of Naplam Death of going places that no bands have ever been, you know, kind of being the guinea pigs a little bit, we're going to Kazakhstan.
Right.
Personally, I can't fucking wait. You know, it's going to be fucking great, you know. So we're doing that, and then actually at some point towards the end of the year, we're going to start thinking about the next album. We're working on the mechanics of it right now, but we may record it in parts. So there's going to be maybe one part this year, a couple of parts next year, heading towards a release at the end of next year.
Now, how does that work for you guys? I mean, for you being on the road and you guys doing stuff all over the world, do you guys write on the bus or
no,
you
we
take
write
some time
at
off?
home. We write at home. Yeah, we have to. It's just the way we work. Some bands can do it. We can't. Speaking for myself, I have to sit in a darkened room, pull the phones out, draw the blinds. I just have to sit there. That's what I have to do. And sometimes I'll sit there for couple of days with just, a blank sheet or a blank computer and nothing will get written. Then I'll wake up the next day and I'll write a song in 10 minutes.
Okay.
It's just how it goes.
Right.
But I need that isolation to write, yeah.
Very cool. Now, for Kazakhstan, is that your first time over there?
Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've never been there. Like I say, I don't think any band's ever been there.
I mean, in the States here, the only thing we know is Borat. You know, I mean,
yeah,
you think
it's a stereotype.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's going to be great.
Yeah, a big change up from what you're used to, then, for sure.
Oh, but then again, like I say, I could point you to other things that we did. We were the first band to play in Russia, Western band.
Okay.
They had this, like, that corporate peace festival thing that went on just before we did. But like Naplam was the first to go in there independently. It was still the Soviet Union when we went in,
Okay. So you guys were USSR when the
yeah,
went down.
91. It was effectively the last week of the Soviet Union, pretty much. We were there. I witnessed it. So I mean, imagine being able to look back at the end of your life and say, I did that.
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, it's something to look back and say, amazing for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen the videos of shows like that, and you guys ain't playing for a few people. You guys are playing for hundreds of thousands.
In some places, yeah, you can. We definitely, you definitely can draw people out like that. Well, the Moscow gig, the very first two that we did, 'cause it was 2 nights. I think it was something like 13,000 people a night.
Oh, wow!
For a band like us. You look around you go, holy fuck.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's got to be a surreal feeling.
Well, it is, because we're a shitting bullets band. We'll roll into clubs where the PA's falling over, and the people are right on top of you. That's where we kind of thrive,
Right.
And obviously, slightly different scenario when you're playing in an ice hockey arena. It's
for sure
pretty crazy.
Now, do they lay on you, like telling you what you can or can't do before you do something like that back then, or?
Well, they didn't actually. I was surprised. They didn't put any restrictions on us at the time. The only thing we said was there was a lot of military there, and we were like, look, they wouldn't move on taking the military out of there, but we were like, look, we don't want the kids being brutalised, because obviously they didn't understand about concerts at that point, to what we understand them. We were like, look, when we do gigs, we might have security people around, but we didn't put them there, and we do tell them not to fucking start beating kids
right.
up. But these soldiers, they had the batons out, we were like, we don't want you to assault people, while we're playing. And it seemed that they actually listened, because there was I didn't see anybody get, whacked.
Right. Well, I mean, it's got to be an amazing feeling for you too. I mean, you guys don't know what you're getting into. You guys are the first to do something like that.
Yeah.
It's a milestone. I mean,
it felt like it as well.
You guys laid the groundwork for other people to do different stuff.
It really did sometimes, So.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. Thank you for everything.
All the best.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Yeah.